In this exercise, we're going to convert this heart outline into a custom guide without harming the heart, by the way, and then we're going to trace our other spirals. I've saved my progress as onespiraldown.ai found inside the 04 line art folder. Twirl open your drawing layer here inside the layers panel, and then twirl open mask. And I want you to meatball the heart right there in order to select it. And then go up to the edit menu and choose the copy command or press Control-C, Command-C on the Mac. Then you can twirl that closed if you want for a moment. So we can twirl open guides because I want to add it to the guides layer. And I'm going to go ahead and meatball the perimeter guide, but that's not working for me. And I'm guessing it's because good old lock guides is turned on. So I'll go to the view menu, go to guides, turn off lock guides, sure enough. And then I'll meatball perimeter in order to select it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to go ahead and paste the heart directly in front of perimeter. And I'm going to do that using paste and backs opposite up here in the edit menu. Right there's paste in front, or Control-F, Command-F on the Mac. How simple is that? Again, this goes way back to Illustrator 1.0. This was the way you used to stack objects inside the program. And notice that that goes ahead and registers the heart into place. Now, the heart's a heart. In other words, it's a standard everyday average path. If I were to go to the top of the layers panel and turn off drawing for just a moment, you can see it's a standard stroked path outline. We need to convert it into a guide. So go up to the view menu, choose guides, and choose make guides, or press Control-5, Command-5 on the Mac. And then I'll press Control-Shift-A or Command-Shift-A on the Mac to deselect that item. And I just want you to see, isn't that amazing? Anything can be a snappable guide inside of Illustrator. So I was already telling you that when we were working with the rectangular grid tool, but I want you to see it actually happening with a curved organic object like this. And when I say organic, of course, I don't mean it's a photorealistic heart with a bunch of valves inside of it. I just mean that it has nice contours. All right, I'll go ahead and twirl close guides, and I'll turn drawing back on. Click on the drawing layer to make it active. Twirl it open so I can see what I'm doing inside of this layer. Twirl close mask. And then I'm going to go back up to the view menu, choose guides, and choose lock guides. So maybe you do want to memorize that keyboard shortcut. We keep coming back to a Control-Alt-semicolon, Command-Option-semicolon on the Mac. The thing is, though, you just have to be sure you're pressing the right keys because, after all, if you press the wrong key set, then you won't have actually locked your guides down, and you might have done something completely different. Who knows? All right, now let's draw another spiral. I still have the spiral tool selected. And this guy's going to be drawn automatically at the top of the stack. And you know what? That's not really the way to go. We want these spirals to appear at least in back of the heart layer like so. So the spiral should be below the heart, which is below the arrow. And so to make that happen, I'll go ahead and meatball this mask item so it's selected. And then I'll turn on draw behind. And now when I draw this spiral like so, and I'm going to have to spacebar it into position, but at some point it should snap into alignment with that heart-shaped guideline. And I've gotten it to snap now. I'm pretty happy with the way this looks. It's not exactly on, but it's probably good enough. I would say it's acceptable to get slightly different results every time I draw this. However, I'm going to move off for just a moment because I want to make it a tiny bit smaller and then move it back. And I'm doing that, of course, using the space bar. And I'm going to draw up a little bit so I get this kind of snap going, and eventually I'll get something that I'm happy with. This looks okay to me, and then I'll release. And notice that this new path appears behind the formerly selected object because, after all, I have the drawing mode set to behind. Now I'll go up to the stroke option in the control panel and I'll change it to 4 points in order to create a thinner spiral. And then finally I want to draw this guy, so I'll drag like so. And this is going to put the path behind the formerly selected spiral, so the one I just got done drawing, because that was the last selected path. All right, and this pretty much nails it. That's actually a pretty darn good match right there. And I'll go ahead and release. And then notice this new spiral has appeared in back of the thinner one right there. It appears a little thicker because it's smaller, but we're going to make it look thinner now inside the illustration window and inside the layers panel by going up to the stroke option once again and changing it to 2 points like so. And we now have our strokes where we want them to be. I'm now going to suggest that we take all 3 of them like so, rather than drawing new spirals on the other side, which you can certainly do if you feel like you need an awful lot of spiral experience. But to my way of thinking, we're better off going up here to the rotate tool, selecting the reflect tool or pressing the O key, dropping down to this guide intersection right there, Alt-clicking or Option-clicking on the Mac in order to bring up the Reflect dialog box. I don't know which is going to be selected for you, horizontal or vertical, but vertical is what we're looking for so that we're performing a horizontal flip across a vertical axis and click Copy in order to copy all of those spirals. Now, notice something interesting here. These new spirals appear in front of the old ones, even though I'm working inside the Draw Behind mode. So Draw Behind ensures that you're drawing behind and pasting behind, but it doesn't always ensure that new objects appear behind old ones. Anyway, I'm going to switch back to Draw Normal. And I'm going to grab all of these guys, both the right side spirals, which are currently selected, and the left side spirals. So I'll go ahead and grab my black arrow tool here, and I'll shift drag around these guys in order to select them. And then I'm going to group them all by going up to the Object menu and choosing the Group command, or pressing Control-G, Command-G on the Mac, and I'm going to call this new group Spirals. And you know what? I should have called the old spirals Template, so I'll double-click on them and call them Template, like so. Click OK, and then I'm going to hide that template because I no longer need it. I'll press Control-Shift-A or Command-Shift-A on the Mac to deselect the entire illustration, close the Line Tool panel, and then I'll press Control-Semicolon or Command-Semicolon on the Mac in order to take a look at this final illustration. I am seeing one little problem. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. It looks to me like we had a round cap on our big spiral, but we have what are known as butt caps, where they suddenly abut against the anchor points on the other two spirals. So I need to fix that. And I'm going to do that by taking advantage of a really awesome selection function inside of Illustrator that I'm going to explain in the next exercise.